My wife told my sister she's not allowed to hold our baby, and my sister just showed me the text. My sister Sarah is the most gentle human being I've ever known. This woman cries at commercials. She rescued a bird once and nursed it back to health in a shoebox for 2 weeks. She named it Gerald. She cried when Gerald flew away. She is not a threat to any living creature on this planet. She's also a pediatric nurse. She holds babies for a living. Premature babies. Babies that weigh less than a bag of sugar. Babies so fragile the doctors trust only the best nurses to handle them. Sarah is that nurse. She has held hundreds of newborns in her career. She has never dropped a single one. She's not been allowed to hold my daughter in 3 months. My wife Emma gave birth to our first child in October. Beautiful day. Whole family at the hospital. Mom held the baby. Dad held the baby. My cousin, who I see once a year, held the baby. The Uber driver who took us to the hospital almost held the baby. Everyone got a turn, except Sarah. Every time Sarah reached out, Emma had a reason. She just fell asleep. She's about to eat. She's fussy right now. Maybe later. Later never came. Not that day, not the next visit, not the visit after that. For 3 months, my sister has shown up to every family event, watched every single person hold her niece, and sat with empty arms. I thought it was coincidence. Bad timing. Sarah thought otherwise. She said, "Your wife won't let me hold her." I said, "That's crazy. You're being paranoid." She said, "Am I?" Then she showed me her phone. My wife sent a text to the family group chat. The family group chat I'm not in, because apparently there's a family group chat without me. That's a separate issue I'll be addressing later. The text said, "Please don't hand the baby to Sarah. She's too rough and I don't trust her grip." Too rough. She doesn't trust her grip. My sister is a pediatric nurse. She holds babies whose entire body fits in one hand. She has been entrusted with the most fragile humans on earth by licensed medical professionals. And my wife doesn't trust her grip. I scrolled up. There was context. And by context, I mean there was an argument. My mom responded, "Emma, that seems like a lot. Sarah is wonderful with babies." Good. Thank you, Mom. Voice of reason. Emma responded, "My baby, my rules. My baby, not our baby. My." I'm standing in the kitchen reading this, and apparently I've been removed from the ownership structure of my own child. My aunt responded, "Maybe Sarah could just sit down when she holds her?" A compromise. My aunt offered a seated arrangement. Like Sarah is a fall risk. She's 29 and runs marathons. Emma responded, "I just feel better if she didn't." Remember Thanksgiving 2022? Thanksgiving 2022. I knew what this was about. 2 years ago, Sarah dropped a plate at Thanksgiving, a ceramic plate, while carrying dishes to the sink. It slipped. It cost maybe $4. Nobody was hurt. The plate didn't even fully break. It cracked. A crack. And my wife has been holding this against her for 2 years. My sister dropped a $4 plate in 2022, and my wife decided she could never be trusted with a human child. That's like banning someone from driving because they tripped on a sidewalk once. The logic doesn't connect. There is no logic. There's just my wife, and a grudge that has outlived the plate itself. I confronted Emma that night. "Why can't Sarah hold the baby?" She said, "I just want to be careful." Careful about what? She's a pediatric nurse. Hospital babies are different. How? How are hospital babies different from our baby? She's rough. She held a 2-pound preemie last week. If she can hold a 2-pound baby, she can hold our 11-pound baby. Our baby is easier. Our baby is the tutorial level of babies. Emma crossed her arms. Thanksgiving. The plate? You're banning my sister from holding our child because of a plate? From 2 years ago? It shows a pattern. A pattern? One plate is not a pattern. A pattern requires at least 2 events. That's literally the definition. She dropped one thing one time. Emma went quiet. Then she said the real thing. The thing underneath the plate excuse and the grip excuse and every other excuse. She's just so natural with babies. Everyone always says it. "Oh, Sarah's so good with kids. Sarah should have kids first. Sarah's going to be the best mom." I've heard it my whole pregnancy. At the shower. At the hospital. Even your mom said Sarah has a gift. Nobody said that about me. And this is my baby. I sat down. Because that wasn't about a plate. That was about my wife feeling like she was losing the one thing that was supposed to be entirely hers. She spent 9 months growing our daughter, and the second she was born, everyone pointed at someone else and said, "She's the natural." That's not fair. And it's not Sarah's fault, but I understood it. I said, "You're an incredible mom. Nobody is replacing you. Sarah holding the baby doesn't make you less of her mother. It makes Lily lucky to have an aunt who loves her that much." She cried. Not a lot, but enough. The next family dinner, Sarah showed up. Same as always. Sat down. Didn't ask. She'd stopped asking weeks ago because the rejection hurt too much. Emma walked over with Lily. Didn't say a word. Just placed her in Sarah's arms. Sarah looked at me. Then at Emma. Then at the baby. Lily fell asleep in under 2 minutes. Fastest she'd ever fallen asleep. My wife watched from across the room. I could tell it stung a little, but she let it happen. My mom whispered to me, "What changed?" I said, "She just needed to know she wasn't being replaced." Sarah held Lily for 45 minutes that night. Didn't drop her, obviously. She held her like she holds every baby. Like they're made of something precious. Because they are. Emma hasn't apologized directly. But last week she texted Sarah a photo of Lily in the onesie Sarah bought her.